What I love is internet. My name is Kevin and welcome back to another video. So guys, for today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about hyped books that I don't like. So yeah, I'm aware that some of you guys are probably going to love some of these books, but it's just my opinion. I'm not like judging you if you like these books or anything like that. It's just my opinion and I thought it'd be a fun video idea. So if this is your first time seeing my face, don't forget to subscribe down below and give this video a thumbs up and become part of my bookish family and just join the Irish Reader Squad. Is that a thing? I'm kind of making it a thing. So here we go with the hyped books that I don't like. The first one I'm going to talk to you guys about is probably one that's going to come at quite a shock to you guys, and that is Harry Potter. I am totally joking, by the way. I'm sorry if any of you just had like a mild heart attack. I am completely joking. This is my baby. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. I'm really sorry. Okay, back to reality. The first book I'm going to talk to you guys about is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I have talked about this book before and why I don't like it before, but yes, I'm just bringing it up again because this is a quite hyped book and she's a very hyped author, and this is the only book I have read by her, and so I haven't really given her a chance in anything else. So my opinion is only based on this particular book, and I'm just not a fan of this world and everything about this book. And also in my edition it did not include a glossary because this book is set in like a Russian-esque world where loads of different Russian terms of like clothing, of warriors and fighters and all that kind of stuff, and in my edition it did not include a glossary, so I had no idea what any of these things were, and I was like constantly googling them to try to figure out what the hell they were even talking about. So for that reason it kind of just like brought the book down for me because I had to do so much work just to read the book. But I have heard lots of great things about her Six of Crows duology series, and people have told me to give that a chance, but I'm very reluctant to try it because I just know how I felt about this book, and I just feel like it's going to carry over onto Six of Crows because I just didn't like that world. So yeah, the next book that I'm going to talk about is also one that shouldn't be a shock because I've talked about how I don't like it before, and that is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. I was expecting to like this book a lot more than I did. It was very underwhelming for me because I was expecting to really enjoy this book, and the cover was stunning, and it was one of those books where I judged it by the cover and the hype and went into it, and sadly I did not come out happy. I came out very underwhelmed. I just couldn't see what the big hype was about this book, and yeah, I just have no interest in continuing on with the series because I'm not interested enough to continue on with it. I am aware that lots of people love this series, and I'm also really happy and excited for all the fans of this series because they're getting 3 more books, and if I was obsessed with this series I would be so happy about that. So I'm happy for everyone who loves it and they're getting 3 more books, but for me it just wasn't for me. The writing style I thought I would like, but I just didn't like the crossing out. It kind of bugged me in a way, and I just didn't like the insta-love kind of elements to it, and yeah, I just wasn't a fan. But you know, all books aren't meant to be your favorite books. Now, the next one that I want to talk about is one that's very hyped on booktube, and the series has recently finished. I think it finished this year or last year. I think it was last year. So it's not really as hyped anymore, but it still is a very hyped series, and I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about it, especially my favorite booktubers, and that is The Raven Cycle. I also have Blue Lily Lily Blue, but it's just on my bookshelf and I only have 2 hands. You know, I can't hold all 3 books. Now, this is an interesting one to talk about because I gave The Raven Boys 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it, and I loved how it ended, and I was just really interested in everything, and I was so looking forward to reading The Dream Thieves. So then we started reading this one. This book was very slow, and a lot of people were hyping about this book in particular because they were like, oh my god, it's just so good, like wait till you read The Dream Thieves, it's just so amazing, it's so much better than The Raven Boys. And I was just like, no it isn't. The Raven Boys in my opinion is much better than The Dream Thieves. This book was such a huge disappointment to me. I think I gave it like a 3 stars, and it was just so hyped and everyone was saying, oh my god, you're gonna love this one even more, and I didn't. There's nowhere near as much stuff happening compared to The Raven Boys, and the ending's quite anticlimactic in my opinion, and it ends very quickly and it's very rushed and everything happens in the last 50 pages, and I'm just like, why couldn't that have been carried out throughout the whole book and kept me interested? Because I was losing interest, and then eventually I got to the end and it kind of picked back up again, and then it just went back down. So this was very hyped, and for me it just did not live up to the expectation, and I wasn't a big fan. I am very reluctant to continue on with the series, but a lot of people are telling me that Blue Lily Lily Blue makes it worthwhile and this book makes more sense because there's a lot of character development. But I'm just so reluctant and I don't even know when I'll pick up Blue Lily Lily Blue. The next book I'm going to talk about is also a series that is finished, and it's mainly the author. The author is very hyped, and I've only read this book by her, and I also own the second book in this trilogy, but I just haven't read the second one yet, and it's because this book just didn't live up to my expectations really, and that is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Now, with this book, I did enjoy it and I loved like the plot and the main premise of this book with like the powers and the children. I loved that. Like, that is my favorite thing to read about. Anything to do with little kids when there's something different about them. I love that trope. It's my favorite thing ever. But this book, I don't know. It's just very confusing to me because I thought I was going to love this and it's just very underwhelming for me. I think because of the hype and everyone was like, oh my god, The Darkest Minds is so freaking good. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm so excited to read it. And then I read it and it was just meh. I wasn't really shipping anyone because everyone's just like, oh my god, I shipped this so hard. And I wasn't shipping anything from this book. And maybe it carries more over into the second one, which is probably most likely. But it just didn't happen with me. It didn't have that impact on me. Just for that reason, it was a book that I just didn't like based on the hype. And will I continue on with this series? Possibly, because I do own the second book and I do want to give it a chance, but I just don't know when I'll pick it up. Like, someone needs to motivate me to pick it up, or I'm just never going to. And I kind of forget what happened in this book, so I probably need to reread this, and I don't want to do that, so I need to find like a good summary if I'm going to read the second book. And the final book that I'm going to be talking to you guys about is also another one I've discussed before about not liking, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This trilogy is also finished, and a lot of people were obsessed with it. A lot of the big booktubers also loved it, and they love Pierce Brown himself because he's a very stunning author. I will give him that. He's very pretty. But the book itself just, I don't even know where to go. Like, it just was so confusing for me. It was so hard to grasp and understand. I was just so angry at the beginning as well because something happens and it really pissed me off. And I was like thinking about it the whole way through the book and I was just so angry about it. And I think that's kind of why I just didn't like it, because of that thing happening. So I probably should have held grudges, but I just couldn't because it really angered me. This book was just really hard for me to understand, and I definitely will not be continuing on with the series because I have literally no interest in any of the characters or anything about this book. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to admit that you don't like a book, and sadly I don't like this one. But I know a lot of people do love it, but for me, I just didn't, and it's sad, but hey ho. So guys, they are all hyped books that I unfortunately did not like, and I would love to know down below if you are also not a fan of any of these books that I have talked about in this video. So let me know down below in the comments, or let me know down below what hyped books you don't like, and other than that, I will see you all in my next video. So goodbye guys.